Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that every single person you've ever loved has forgotten you. Your best friend doesn't recognize your face. The girl you sacrificed everything to protect walks right past you like you're a complete stranger. Even the heroes who once fought beside you have no memory that you ever existed. That is exactly where Spider-Man: Brand New Day begins. The events of Spider-Man: No Way Home changed Peter Parker's life forever. To save the entire multiverse, Doctor Strange cast a spell that erased Peter Parker from everyone's memory. The world still remembers Spider-Man, but no one remembers the young man behind the mask. Peter made the ultimate sacrifice, choosing loneliness so the people he loved could have normal lives. 4 years later, he is still living with the consequences of that decision. Gone is the cheerful teenager balancing school, friendships, and superhero adventures. Now Peter lives alone in a tiny apartment, struggling to pay rent while spending nearly every waking hour protecting New York City. Crime fighting has become his full-time purpose because being Spider-Man is the only identity he has left. Peter Parker has become almost invisible to the world around him. Every morning follows the same routine. He wakes before sunrise, repairs his damaged suit, listens to police scanners, and swings across the skyline before most people have even opened their eyes. The city cheers for Spider-Man whenever he saves someone, but once the mask comes off, Peter is just another anonymous face walking through crowded streets. One afternoon, while stopping what appears to be an ordinary robbery, Peter notices something strange. The criminals aren't behaving normally. They move with impossible coordination. They seem fearless, almost as if someone, or something, is controlling them. At first, Peter believes it's just another gang using experimental technology. But as similar attacks begin happening across the city, a disturbing pattern starts to emerge. Department of Damage Control facilities are being targeted. High-tech equipment is disappearing. Witnesses describe mysterious figures appearing and vanishing before anyone can identify them. Even Spider-Man struggles to understand what he's fighting. For the first time since the multiverse crisis, Peter feels completely outmatched. As the investigation continues, another problem begins affecting him. His powers start changing. His enhanced strength becomes unpredictable. His senses overload without warning. Even his famous spider sense starts reacting to threats that aren't actually there. Simple rescues become dangerous because Peter can no longer fully trust his own body. At first, he hides the problem. After everything he's already lost, asking for help feels impossible. But every day, the strange transformation grows worse. Peter begins wondering whether the spell that erased him from history left behind consequences nobody expected. Or perhaps something far more dangerous is happening inside him. While searching for answers, Peter crosses paths with familiar faces from the larger Marvel universe. Some of them respect Spider-Man as a hero, yet none of them recognize Peter Parker. Watching old allies speak to him like a complete stranger becomes one of the movie's most heartbreaking elements, constantly reminding him of the price he paid years earlier. Still, Peter refuses to give up. Because if there's one lesson Spider-Man has always believed in, it's that being a hero isn't about recognition. It's about doing the right thing, even when nobody knows your name. At the same time, New York is descending into chaos. More attacks strike Department of Damage Control facilities, and every witness tells the same story. The attackers seem to move like puppets, acting with perfect coordination, as if one mind is controlling dozens of people at once. Peter races from one crime scene to another, but every time he gets close to the mastermind, the trail goes cold. Then something impossible happens. Even Bruce Banner briefly loses control of himself. Across the city, innocent civilians, police officers, and even powerful heroes begin acting against their own will. It's no longer just a crime spree. Someone possesses the ability to enter other people's minds and turn them into living weapons. Meanwhile, another familiar face returns. Frank Castle, the Punisher. Unlike Spider-Man, Frank doesn't believe in second chances. Wherever Spider-Man tries to save everyone, Punisher believes the fastest solution is simply eliminating the threat. Their first encounters are filled with tension. Peter wants to stop criminals without taking lives, while Frank sees Peter's compassion as a weakness that criminals continue to exploit. Surprisingly, despite their constant arguments, the two slowly begin respecting one another. Their chemistry becomes one of the highlights of the movie, blending humor with genuine philosophical conflict. As Peter pieces together the mystery, he finally discovers the truth behind the attacks. The mysterious telepath is revealed to be Jean Grey. For years, fans wondered when the X-Men would officially arrive in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Instead of making a loud entrance, Marvel introduces one of its most powerful mutants through a deeply emotional story. Jean isn't portrayed as a traditional villain driven by greed or revenge. She's struggling to control extraordinary psychic abilities while being manipulated by forces around her. Peter immediately recognizes something important. She's not evil, she's suffering. That realization changes everything. Instead of trying to defeat Jean with brute force, Spider-Man spends much of the final act trying to reach the frightened young woman trapped beneath overwhelming telepathic power. Of course, that's easier said than done. Jean's abilities are unlike anything Peter has ever faced. She can read thoughts before he makes a move. She can create terrifying illusions. She can control the minds of powerful heroes, turning allies into enemies within seconds. At one point, even the Hulk becomes a threat after falling under her influence, forcing Spider-Man into one of the most dangerous battles of his life. The climax becomes less about physical strength and more about compassion. Peter refuses to believe Jean is beyond saving. Working alongside Bruce Banner and his allies, he helps disable the source amplifying her powers instead of destroying her. Once freed from that influence, Jean regains control of herself and the city finally begins returning to normal. But Peter's personal journey isn't over. Near the end of the film, he quietly crosses paths with MJ once again. She doesn't fully remember him. Yet something feels familiar. She discovers the note Peter once left behind after the events of No Way Home, and fragments of their shared past begin resurfacing. For a brief moment, it seems like everything might finally return to the way it was. But life isn't that simple. MJ understands that they once meant everything to each other, yet she also realizes she's become a different person. Rather than restarting their relationship immediately, she chooses to move forward with her own life, leaving Peter with bittersweet closure instead of the happy ending many fans expected. Meanwhile, Ned begins showing the first signs that his memories may also be returning, hinting that the story between these friends isn't over yet. In the film's final moments, Spider-Man swings across New York once more. He's still alone, still anonymous, but no longer hopeless. He's accepted that being Spider-Man isn't about getting his old life back. It's about protecting people, even if they never know who he really is. Then comes the post-credit scene. A mysterious signal locks onto Spider-Man's location. Not in New York, but in outer space, teasing that Peter Parker's next adventure could take him far beyond Earth and directly into the events of Marvel's upcoming crossover films. At this point, the story shifts away from giant action scenes and becomes something much more personal. Peter has saved the city once again, but the victory doesn't feel complete. Jean Grey is safe. The mind-controlled civilians are free. The immediate danger is over. Yet Peter still returns to an empty apartment where nobody knows his real name. That quiet ending has become one of the most talked about aspects of Brand New Day. Instead of ending with a huge celebration, the film reminds viewers that Peter's greatest battle has always been loneliness. Many critics praised this grounded approach, saying it finally brought the character back to his friendly neighborhood Spider-Man roots after the multiverse spectacle of No Way Home. Fans have also been discussing the film's biggest surprise, Sadie Sink's reveal as Jean Grey. For months, the internet was filled with theories claiming she might be Spider-Girl, Black Cat, or another secret Marvel character. In the end, Marvel chose Jean Grey, officially introducing one of the X-Men's most iconic heroes into the MCU. Many viewers believe this reveal is even more important than the main plot because it lays the foundation for Marvel's future mutant stories. Another major talking point has been Tom Holland's performance. Rather than portraying Peter as the energetic teenager from earlier films, Holland delivers a quieter and more mature version of the character. Critics have described it as one of his strongest performances because so much of the movie depends on emotion instead of spectacle. Peter spends much of the story carrying pain that nobody else can even remember causing. Of course, not every reaction has been completely positive. Some reviewers felt the movie tried to do too much at once. Alongside Peter's personal journey, the film introduces Jean Grey, expands Damage Control's role, teases the X-Men, includes the Punisher, Bruce Banner, and several MCU connections. While many fans enjoy these additions, others thought they occasionally distracted from Spider-Man's own story. Even so, there's one thing that almost everyone seems to agree on. This movie feels very different from No Way Home. That film was built around nostalgia, returning villains, and multiverse surprises. Brand New Day focuses almost entirely on Peter Parker himself. It's about rebuilding a life after losing everything. It's about learning that being a hero doesn't always mean receiving thanks. Sometimes it simply means getting up every morning, putting on the mask, and protecting people who will never know your name. The ending also sparked endless theories. When Ned's Spider-Man tracker suddenly detects activity in outer space, fans immediately began connecting it to Avengers, Secret Wars and future cosmic Marvel stories. Others believe it's teasing another Spider-Man somewhere in the multiverse. Marvel intentionally leaves the mystery unanswered, ensuring audiences leave the theater asking one final question: where is Spider-Man going next? And perhaps that's the greatest success of Spider-Man: Brand New Day. It doesn't try to repeat No Way Home. Instead, it gives Peter Parker something he hasn't had in years: a fresh start, a brand new day.